All right, guys. So these people are upset again. Trump has been in office for about 4 or 5 days now, and I don't know if it's just me. I don't know if you guys feel it, but maybe it's because of all the executive orders and things that have been getting done since he's been in office that makes it feel like he's been there for a month about. And the most recent thing that he was able to clamp down on was ending the DEI programs in the federal government. Check this out.
We are just hours away from the end of all DEI programs in those dedicated departments in the federal government. The Office of Personnel Management is set at 5 p.m. Eastern to meet the deadline for all government agencies to close those offices, and the employees, for at least the time being, will be on paid administrative leave. That follows President Trump's executive orders to bring an end to DEI and to make America merit-based. So he's going to do that at the federal level and restore the importance of our individual efforts within the workforce. During his inaugural address, President Trump made very clear his intentions to create a colorblind society.
I will also end the government policy of trying to socially engineer race and gender into every aspect of public and private life. We will forge a society that is colorblind and merit-based.
Yesterday, the president signed an executive order ending Biden's, quote, forced, illegal, and immoral discrimination, end quote, in the federal workforce and directing the government to serve every person with equal dignity and respect. However, liberal leaders are up in arms about the idea of merit-based society. Here's the Reverend Al Sharpton.
Why do we have DEI? We had DEI because you denied us diversity. You denied us equity. You denied us inclusion. DEI was a remedy to the racial institutional bigotry practiced in academia and in these corporations. Now you want to put us back in the back of the bus. We're going to do the Dr. King Rosa Parks on you.
And The View co-host Sunny Hostin launched her own attack.
And thinking about that, and Donald Trump saying things that this country would be a meritocracy, you're talking about a man who didn't become the president of the United States because of merit. He hasn't he had no political experience whatsoever. He had no business experience. He was given everything that he has. He is a legacy hire. He is, if anything, a DEI hire, a didn't earn it hire.
Okay, so based on Sunny Hostin's last statement in that clip you just saw, she has no idea what legacy admissions is. No idea. And how do you present yourself as someone who is pro-DEI to then turn around and then call Trump a DEI hire? Continuing on, Trump issued an executive order that rolled back a prior executive order that was solidified during the Lyndon B. Johnson administration. And this executive order was about affirmative action and diversity practices in the federal government. Now, essentially, Trump banned these DEI programs in the federal government. I didn't even know that this was just a executive order. I thought this was a law. I don't know about you guys, but I thought that was a law. It turns out it's just an executive order from 1965. I think this is great news because DEI is very obviously discrimination, and it's amazing how many hoops leftists will jump through just to justify, it's really just discrimination, like the bottom line, discrimination. Now, here in this next clip, we have an intense debate on The View over this topic. Check it out.
Lyndon Johnson made it.
Well, we're not only, he's not taking us back 4 years.
Yeah.
He's taking us back to 1965
Right.
before it was legal for there to be interracial marriage
That's
in
why
this
it's so-
country.
that's why it's so
And I,
broad. Yeah.
look, I would love to think, and I hope that we get there one day. I would love to think that there is no racism by the people who do hirings in the government and in corporations in America. But that is not the case. I would love to think that there is no homophobia, but that is not the case. And I think that by getting rid of this and doing it in such a bold way on day one, what he is doing is giving a green light to people who are racist, to people who are homophobic, to people who are anti-women and think they should be in the kitchen, and telling them there is no consequence.
Typical race hustler logic. Race hustlers won't let these things end, because if they let racism end or sexism end, they lose their power. Essentially, they lose their profit also. So there's no money in ending these things. There's no power in ending these things, because the money is in keeping it going and at least putting forward the illusion that these things are still prevalent. So people will listen to these race hustlers and identify. But the government shouldn't be hiring based on physical characteristics. It's almost common sense. But at that point, you're not actually looking for the most qualified candidate. You're basically just trying to check a social justice box, essentially. So check out this next part. In this next part, Sarah is going to drop the truth bomb on the rest of the girls. Check it out.
One of the criticisms against DEI is diversity, equity, and inclusion. All great in theory, but the DEI programs have not accomplished things. They've been a bureaucracy of money suck that have not gotten anywhere. When you say people are threatened, what do you think the removal of DEI is going to do to those people? Because a lot of this is...
I can tell you that, because the removal of DEI actually at this point in time,
because they're not going to fire people.
Yeah, they wouldn't fire
the
people who are
departments of
hired under
DEI.
it.
well, they're not only
They
going
have
to
put them on paid leave.
they put them
The
on
DEI people.
officers.
But what I'm saying is all the people that work
but they
in
also stopped this thing, these ridiculous, what are you
Executive
the executive orders. What they are doing is also eliminating the protections for discrimination in awarding government contracts. And to be clear, that is going to hurt women. That is going to hurt.
But I do...
So Trump is eliminating the protection against discrimination by not allowing DEI, which is discrimination. Coherent thoughts by Sonny Holston. Continue the clip.
University of Michigan, $85 million in a 5-year DEI plan. The Black Student Union said $85 million was spent, and yet Black students' experience on campus has hardly improved, and enrollment has gone down. So that's one example of saying that
Law School, the
it's not
enrollment of
just a
Black students
criticism
have
of
gone down.
diversity. It's a criticism of the programs being effective. And the one thing I will say that is, as we push
they're
DEI,
very effective.
that's not what I'm reading. But the point here is that I would also say this all started in colleges and the turning over of affirmative action. I would ask that they immediately address legacy admissions as well. Because if we're talking about the equal opportunity, we need to get rid of legacy admissions.
underscore one thing, which is...
Now, to be honest, I don't really care about these legacy admissions things, and it's something that the left brings up, whenever they talk about equality and stuff like that. I don't think they actually care about that issue. But moving on, Sarah was basically saying that the DEI programs were scams, which is true. They weren't really doing anything in these programs except for sucking up a ton of money and pushing or having zero results. So it's no wonder that when these large corporations, these tech giants started doing layoffs, they basically started laying off the DEI departments first, because not because they're ineffective, but they cost money. They don't benefit the company in any way, profit wise. They don't improve the worth of the company or anything. It's literally just a money pit. You're just throwing money at something that doesn't work. And I think a lot of Americans are tired of this. And I think, unfortunately, people who have DEI degrees are going to find out that their skills are not marketable when it comes to career seeking. Anyway, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. I'll see you later. Peace.